is amazing who you run into at these Paracons. I have once again met up with the lovely Heather Taddy. We ran into each other about 2 months ago at the Michigan Paracon.
Yep, that's correct.
And that was an amazing Paracon.
It was a great event, yeah. It was
and
fun.
we actually had to sit down and we chatted on camera for a bit, but due to technical difficulties, that video didn't work out. So I returned to, as they say in Quantum Leap, put right what once went wrong. And I just basically wanted to just catch up with you. Now, you have been on A&E's Paranormal State,
correct?
Okay, where you worked with the legendary Lorraine Warren.
Yes.
How do they say it? OMG.
Unbelievable.
And Travel Channel's Portals to Hell and Alien Highway.
Correct.
So it's ghosts, it's haunted objects, it's aliens. I mean, what haven't you done?
I guess you could say I'm very well-rounded when it comes to this subject and investigations, because when you think about it, when I started Paranormal State, besides what I experienced growing up, when I started Paranormal State, we kind of started on like really serious cases first. So there were a lot of really serious demonic cases that were like my first real investigation. So I was kind of exposed to all that in the beginning of everything, and then transitioning that into UFO investigations for Alien Highway. And then again, the more darker stuff that I did on Portals and the 4 episodes that I was on.
Now, I had a question for you. You were recently on Bridget McCord's Ghost Magnet podcast.
I was, yeah.
And I listened to that all the time. I was listening to it on the way into work one day, and I'm like, oh, I know Heather Taddy. This is cool.
Yeah.
And you spoke of an abandoned church. Basically, from what I understand, it's an abandoned church in Topeka, Kansas. And they say that the story is a priest had killed a young girl there, and you had done an investigation where something kind of serious happened.
So this was a church in Topeka, Kansas. It was a Paranormal State episode called Church of the Damned. And basically this church was in really run-down shape, and there were these caretakers that lived there, and their goal was to kind of remodel the church, and because it was in very, very bad shape, but the activity got so intense that they had to stop the renovations, and of course the renovations stirred up activity too. So that was a very interesting case, because you don't really think of churches as being haunted. And the architecture of the church, there were actually upside down crosses, which through our research, of course, we found out that that had to do with St. Peter being crucified upside down, because he didn't think he was worthy of being crucified like Christ. So
wow.
It was very fascinating, and I witnessed a fellow investigator something pulling him back to where he fell on the ground, like something with force pulled him back, and I had never seen anything like that before. So that case is kind of one of the more intense ones that we did.
Now, when I heard you tell that story on the podcast, what got me wondering is, do you think, now the story you said it couldn't be confirmed, but it couldn't be like denied either, about a priest that may have killed a young girl there. Now, do you think that now cemeteries and churches, that's hallowed ground, they were consecrated. So do you think by such an evil act, that act itself deconsecrated that ground, and which invited all these other negative things in?
Yeah, I think it could have been multiple things. I mean, the story we had heard from like locals and some other people, I don't think we could actually historically confirm it with like documents, but the story was there was a priest in the 50s that molested a girl in the boiler room in this basement, and when the owners were remodeling and they removed the boiler, that's kind of when everything started. So that correlates with the activity, which is kind of interesting. And
so
when
this disturbed it.
Yeah, so when my friend got pulled back, we were in like the basement area where they were the caretakers were very like scared to be. It was one of the more intense areas of the church. But yeah, I mean, I think anytime some kind of tragedy like happens like that, there could be something still sticking around. And the church was abandoned for like 7 years. So we talked to a witness that was actually with a group of kids that came in and did like some kind of satanic ritual. So when abandoned buildings are abandoned like that, you don't really know what happened in there. Like there could have been a ton of stuff that happened.
And
so
there's something that
and the thing with this field is we never really truly know.
Exactly.
Everything's speculation. So yeah, I mean that's a good theory.
Now, on an equally serious matter, you like to dress like a box of raisins?
I do. So I love creating Halloween costumes. Every year I seem to just create some weird costume, and I've done a lot of food mascots. Like I made a Planters peanut costume out of chicken wire and paper mache one year.
That's
it
creative.
was such a killer costume. And then I've been the Morton Salt Girl. But yeah, this year I did the Sun-Made Raisin Girl, and I made it out of just a cardboard box. But
It was good.
It was pretty spot on, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I follow you on Instagram, and when it popped up, I'm like, it was like accurate to the actual. And what I like about it is you go the extra mile and
I
bring
do.
along a really bad pun.
Attention to detail.
The,
Yeah.
the really bad puns
My
that you
pun,
bring
yeah.
along with your outfits. I
Yeah,
can respect
so
that.
what I did was usually for my Christmas cards I make really goofy Christmas cards from the Halloween costumes I've created, and there's a cemetery in Pittsburgh where I like to take the photos because it's odd to see the Sun-Made Raisin Girl in such a dark environment. I just like that combination. So my caption was "Raisin the Dead," but like raisin, So
See, I can respect that kind of cheesy.
yeah.
So, I mean, really, Heather Taddy, ghosts, cursed objects, aliens along the 37th parallel, which I gave you the hashtag Miss 37th Parallel.
Oh, I like that.
Okay,
I like
I think we should start using that.
Yeah.
I mean, it coincides. But
Cool.
between ghosts, cursed objects, and UFOs, the only thing she hasn't done is find Bigfoot, which begs the question, so when are you going to find him? I mean, no pressure, but the
I
whole
don't
world's
know.
waiting.
There was one investigation I did looking for Bigfoot. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I believe in Bigfoot. If I have any theory to explain Bigfoot, it would have to be some sort of like
have to believe.
interdimensional. Yeah. There
to
has to be
believe.
some kind of like interdimensional thing, but I don't know. There's just not enough. There's not enough proof for me.
I can't go with the interdimensional or the aliens argument for Bigfoot. I think he's a local boy.
He's a local boy, yeah.
Okay. Thank you again, Heather. This has been a pleasure. Love running into you again. Michigan, we said Minnesota. I think the other girl was talking about Minnesota.
Yeah.
Michigan now here, and you have another series with Katrina Weidman coming up.
Katrina Weidman, yeah.
Weidman. And that is Travel the Dead.
Yeah, it's called Travel the Dead, a little documentary we filmed ourselves, and it's going to premiere sometime next year.
Awesome.
Don't know when.
Looking
but-
forward to it. I will let you know when that comes out.
Yes.
Thank you again. Racing Girl, California Racing Girl. Right here. Thanks again.